going on, everyone? Welcome to my channel, Aquarian Ascendants. These videos are designed to shed light, shed truth and share knowledge on many of the things that are happening on planet Earth. In this video I'm going to talk about the zodiac and the 12 sorts of salvation. So, the body is a system of 12. And what that means is that you have 12 systems which make up the entire body. So your muscular system, your endocrine system, your skeletal system, your digestive system, okay? When all the systems add up, it makes 12. So keep the temple clean and pure with good habits, and you can restore the temple to perfect health. So when you look at the conditioning of society and things that are pushed on us, they are conditioning us, or trying to condition us to essentially self-destruct. So all you got to do is look around, you can see people are suffering, you can see most people don't have good mental or physical health. A lot of people are dealing with drugs, addictions. All they want to do nowadays is give pills to people, prescribe medication, give people jabs and vaccinations, all those kind of things, which are not allowing people to ascend their energy. Okay, so I'm going to go into what ascend your energy means in a little bit. But in the Bible, okay, it's called the temple of God. So the thing about religion as well is that essentially all religions tell us the same thing. They all lead us down the same story, but they just tell it differently. And the thing is, they tell it metaphorically as well. So obviously Christianity, Buddhism, if you're Muslim, whatever it is, each religion has its different stories, but essentially it all says the same thing. Now, what one of the issues is that over the years, it's been very, very manipulated. People that go to these places of worship literally think that these things are going to happen literally. You got a lot of Christians that think Jesus is going to fall out the sky or whatever, or Jesus is going to come save them, and this is wrong. What these ancient texts mean, okay, is something from a metaphorical perspective, and a lot of people are going to find that hard to believe, but that's what it's referring to. It's all metaphorical. So in the Bible, the temple of God is the human body. I'm going to say it how it is. The temple of God is the human body, okay, otherwise known as Solomon's temple. Soul of man. Solomon, soul of man. Okay, so 12 systems in the body. We have 12 months in the year. We have 12 signs in the zodiac calendar. Okay, when you put the signs of the zodiac together, okay, and you section it off, each section is one stone. Okay, so each part of the zodiac has its own stone, which is very important. Okay, and the term zodiac comes from the Greeks. The Greeks called it the zodiac. So the 12. In the Bible, Jesus talks about 12 pillars, 12 disciples, 12 trees along the river. Okay, it's all metaphorical to the human body, and this is really, really important for what I'm about to explain. Okay, but it's representative of the systems. Okay, now the sorts of salvation. Okay, so the word salt is very important. Okay, the word salvation comes from the word salt, so S-A-L-T, salvation. Okay, salut, again S-A-L, salut means health in Italian, French, Spanish, and in Greek it's halos, so the halo. So the halo that comes around their head, salvation. Okay, that's what that means. So in the zodiac, you have 12 signs. Okay, so you have Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces make up the zodiac. Okay, and each sign has its own salt. So this is really important, okay, because not many people know this, okay, but the month you're conceived, okay, each month you're in your mother's womb, you get 1 stone or 1 salt, okay, which contributes towards your body functioning properly. So you have 12 sorts of salvation. So for example, if you're born in February, like me, and you're an Aquarius, okay, you was conceived in the month of May. Okay, so if you're conceived in May, you get May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. Sorry, done that wrong. January, February, March, April, May, June, July. Yeah, so June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February, 9 months. Okay, so each month that you're in the womb, you get 1 salt. I'm going to tell you those salts now. So if you want, pause the video and write them down, because your body needs these 12 salts. And depending on where you're born, okay, there will be 3 salts that you don't get. And those 3 salts that you don't get is what you're going to be deficient in. And the deficiency, okay, of those salts can cause you certain health problems. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit. But the salts are, so for Aries, it's potassium phosphate, okay, and Aries rules the head. Okay, this is all really important. Taurus is sodium sulfate. So for the throat, the jaw, the ears, and the mouth, okay, that's what Taurus rules. Gemini, potassium chloride, the lungs, the arms, the shoulders, and the hands. Cancer, calcium fluoride, the stomach, the breast, and the abs. Okay, Leo is magnesium for the heart and the back. Virgo is potassium sulfate, okay, for the intestines and the gallbladder. So that's what Virgo rules. Libra, the scales. Sodium sulfate is for the hips, the kidneys, and the bladder. Scorpio, okay, calcium sulfate. It rules the reproductive system. Sagittarius, you need silica, okay, for the thighs and the liver. Capricorn, you need calcium phosphate for the knees, the bones, and the skin. Okay, so Capricorn rules the bones. Aquarius, you need sodium chloride. Aquarius rules the lower legs. And Pisces, finally, is iron phosphate. Okay, and Pisces rules the feet, the lymph glands, and the immune system. Alright, so depending on which 3 salts you're deficient in, okay, will be what you call your cornerstone. Now your cornerstone, when you look at it on a zodiac wheel, okay, those will be the 3 salts that you're deficient in. So you want to get those salts, because your body will be lacking that, okay, throughout life. You need to keep topping up on those 3 salts that you're deficient in. So the way you work that out, obviously, the month you're conceived, 9 months onto that, the 3 salts, or the 3 months that you don't have, that will be the salts you're deficient in. That's your cornerstone on the zodiac wheel. For me, for example, I'm conceived in the month of May, and then I'm born in February. Okay, and your cornerstone is from your sun sign, okay, so from the month you was born in, and the 2 months after that. So I would be deficient in February, March, and April. So whatever salt rules those 3 months is my cornerstone. So what you have to do is you have to work out what salts you're deficient in, okay, and then get those salts. Right, so let's talk about, let's work from the head down. Okay, so Aries rules the head, okay, and you can actually see it if you look at the sign for Aries. Okay, you can see Aries comes across here. Okay, so you can actually see the sign here. And Taurus as well, the lower head, the Taurus, which is the bull. Okay, if you draw one line here and one line here, okay, you can see it comes and it looks like the bull. Now the reason that all of this is very accurate, okay, is because we are part of nature, and we are part of the solar system, and we're all part of this evolutionary process. Okay, so for example, when the sun rises, okay, the sun rises in the east, okay, when it comes up to the high, okay, that's the Tropic of Cancer, and then it falls, and then at the bottom is the fall of Capricorn. So everything is happening on one straight line. Okay, so if you was to look at the sun rising, okay, it comes up midday, falls, sun sets, sunrise, sun sets, sunrise, sun sets. That wave, okay, it looks like a wave, like a frequency wave when you put it on a flat line. Okay, that frequency wave is life. When you breathe, for example, okay, when you breathe in, okay, everything's happening on that one straight line. And when you begin to look at things in the universe happening in terms of frequency and energy on one straight line, okay, then everything begins to change. I'm going to talk about what happens when you've got this oil in your head, okay, which the pineal gland and the pituitary gland releases. In the Bible, they call it milk and honey. So, for example, like I said, a lot of religious people are taking these things literally. A lot of Muslims believe that when they go to heaven, there's going to be milk and honey in heaven. That's wrong. It's all symbolic. So your pituitary gland and your pineal gland releases a gold and white substance. Okay, it's very powerful. And what happens is man fell from the heavens. That saying, man fell from the heavens, is when the oil gets released down the base of the spine. Okay, and it sits and it lies dormant in the solar plexus area. So that fluid that gets released, when it's resurrected, so the resurrection of Christ, the word Christ comes from the term Christos, which means oil. So this oil that gets released down the base of the spine, okay, it looks like a figure 8 as it's falling down the spinal cord, and it sits here, okay, in your root / solar plexus and sacral area. Okay, the bottom is hell. Okay, so where it's red is hell. It's where reproduction happens and it's transformative. So when this oil gets released down the base of the spine and lies dormant, okay, one can learn to reactivate this spinal fluid and bring it back up into the brain. And when it gets brought back up into the brain, one becomes enlightened, and one is able to connect to, whether you want to call it higher dimensions, God, whatever it is. As crazy as that sounds, that's what the ancient texts are trying to explain. But they've kept this secret because they don't want people understanding how to do it, because then they wake up to their true power. And that's one of the reasons how they've kept humanity as a collective consciousness in such a low state, because of how they've been conditioned. They've been getting people to self-destruct their entire bodies so that this special oil that is within us cannot rise back up. In the Bible, it's called the Tree of Eden. So what happens in the Bible, the story of Adam and Eve, they eat off the tree. What that's symbolic of is overindulgence in sex, okay? So practicing black tantra, which means men, okay, wanking off every night, watching porn, wasting their seed, depleting their energies, okay, eating from the Tree of Eden, okay, depleting their energies will means that they cannot allow the cerebrospinal fluid to rise back up into the brain. That's number one. Number two, food. Everywhere you look, okay, you can always get food. And this whole concept of food has been extremely manipulated. A lot of it's for profit. Okay, we're eating things we're not meant to eat. So a lot of that's become very, very corrupt, and that's another thing we're doing. Okay, so people don't understand the benefits of fasting and what fasting can do for your health, for your focus, for your mental clarity, and assisting in bringing that oil back up. Okay, so that's the second thing, eating from the Tree of Eden, overindulgence in food. And the third thing is overindulgence in materialistic objects. Okay, so people have become extremely attached to their possessions and the things that they own, being in this physical reality. Okay, becoming greedy, becoming selfish, only thinking about themselves. Okay, when you're acting from a place of selfishness, and you know your heart isn't pure, your heart's not in a good place, that will not allow you to rise the fluid back up, which the ancient scripts tell us. Okay, so we've got all these things going on, which do not allow us to ascend. Okay, so ascending this oil back up requires a lot of detoxification of the body, making a lot of sacrifices in everyday living, because they are making us live in hell. They are making us live in suffering. Okay, that's why whenever you have sex or whenever you're eating food, you always want it again a few days later or in a couple of hours later, and you're in a constant state of suffering. Whereas when one learns how to come away from that, to detach themselves from those things, that doesn't mean you can't have like an orgasm or anything like that. You just don't practice what they call black tantra. Okay, so ejaculating from the lower red shift. Learn to bring the energy up. Okay, so you have something called red shift and blue shift. Okay, blue shift is up here, so you have your chakra systems. So you have red, orange, yellow, the solar plexus, and then the heart space, okay, which is green, so the balance, and then the throat here, the blue, and then above the blue you have indigo and the crown chakra. Okay, so learning to bring that energy up, but in order to do that, okay, you have to understand certain practices. So yeah, when you bring this oil, when you learn how to transmute this oil back up into the pineal gland, okay, it opens what you call the optic thalamus, which is the eye that sees, or your third eye. When you start to see from that eye, then you're able to look out into all of these rabbit holes. You're able to understand things which most people can't. A reason a lot of people find all this stuff hard to hear is because they're so drawn into, whether you want to call it the matrix, okay, that it's very painful for them to look at the truth, because there's certain things going on in their body. The body is not ready, their mind is not ready for it. What does that mean? It means that they haven't learned how to transmute energy upwards. It means that they're still stuck in fear, in manipulation, in all the conditioning that they've been put under since birth. So undoing all of that stuff takes a lot of time, and not everyone can actually do it. So yeah, that's that. But if you look at a lot of so people like a lot of shamans or ancient Egyptians, they all learned to activate their pineal gland by transmuting this energy back up. Okay, so they say it's the oil that was produced from heaven. In the Bible, give us our daily bread, also called the seed or fish, as the oil smells like fish. Okay, so we can only ascend if the condition from below is healthy and clean. If the body is chemically balanced, okay, then the oil will ascend. But it's important to be careful with one's ascension, because that whole process can bring up a lot of things as well. For example, when the Hindus call it Kundalini. So when the Kundalini energy rises, that process can be very, very intense for an individual. Okay, in spirituality, some people may experience something called the dark night of the soul. But we'll go into all of those things in another video. So yeah, the main takeaway from this video is the salts of salvation. Alright, so look at when you was born, work out which salts you need, write the salts down, because they're all very relevant to ascending your energy back up, to making your body chemically balanced and living an optimal and healthy life. You'll be very amazed at some of the deficiencies if you research the health problems that people have had from being deficient in the salts. It's all very accurate. It's all real stuff that I'm talking about. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, let me know. Like, subscribe, and remember to share. Thank you. See you in the next video.